Hi, and welcome back to Client Attraction MBA. I'm Brandy Michaels.
And I am Wenke von Mühlenberg. Welcome to secret number 2. Plan in action. Are you ready for this great stuff? Why don't you start?
It's one of my favorite ones, plan in action. I have worked with so many clients that will spend all this time creating an activity or a product or an event, or they're a speaker, whatever it is they want to produce. They spend all that creative energy investing in it and developing it, and then they have this, tangible baby in their hands, and then they say, now what? Where are the people? Where are the clients? And then that's when they call me up. And I say, well, all right, let's get started now. But this time when you go to create, why don't we market at the same time? Why don't we plan as we're building it and take the action? So the way I describe it is I use a house analogy. So anyone who's ever built a house or worked at construction knows that some people, they live in fear of the city inspectors. So I've seen some people build their business where they pull every permit. They act as if the city inspector's driving by every day. They polish the nails. They overinsure. It's just a really complicated process, and by the time they're done, they have this, perfect house built, but how long did it take to build it, and who's living in it? And so people who do that in business, they get all their legal entities set up, they trademark everything, all their files are perfectly labeled and color-coded, all their systems are set up, and then, wow, they have this perfect shell of a business, and where are the people? And so that's the way I describe it. So I say instead, let's build the house this way. Let's pour a really strong foundation. Some great cement, have it level. Let's start framing the living room, put a roof over it, and move in. And start living as you build the rest. And you put up the rest of the framework and build the house around you. So you can plan in action.
When you are actually in action and you're actually growing and your business is growing, what most likely happens that you're going to get uncomfortable. In the sense, you're going to do things you've never done. You're going to do things that might be a little scary, where you become more visible, and that might be a little scary. You might be doing things that you don't like doing. But in order to go to your next level, to your next business level, you need to do them. And it's a form of healing too, but I say you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's almost a healing process that happens for every entrepreneur, every person that builds a business. And it's not something to worry about or to push away, but rather embrace that that's part of your healing. And sometimes there might be tears or fears come up, and it's part of the healing that when you do something really scary or really uncomfortable, or speaking, or putting yourself out there, because we are so afraid of rejections, and because we've been rejected lots of times in our lives. But to really embrace that is part of your growth, and also the growth of your business and the income that you create.
Right, absolutely. And as creator of the character code system, I can tell you that people handle this differently depending on their character code. So this is based on personality type. So we don't have time to teach them all here today, but I can say that some people are more naturally people. So they will more likely gravitate towards networking or connecting with clients, and they may struggle with some of the back end stuff, maybe the paperwork, some of the systems, things that are still an important part of client attraction. And then there's other people who love that. That's easy for them, and they have a hard time getting out and talking to people. So I definitely use the character codes in teaching that. But I can tell you, being an entrepreneur, being a speaker, whatever your issue is, you're going to get a chance to work on it.
So my favorite subject is productivity. Guess what? Guess why? Because I'm German. It's all about efficiency. Well, so productivity. What does that mean? A lot of people think when they do a lot that they're actually getting things done and things are growing and it's going to happen. But productivity means actually doing things with a big leverage outcome.
Yes.
And a lot of people do all these things. They're running around in circles, doing all these little things that do nothing with no outcome. meaning no clients, no money making, whatever it is that you're doing. But the problem is, what I see mostly is just fear that comes up, because we were talking about comfortable, uncomfortable, and they're not productive because of that.
Right.
And so they're creating all these little problems, running around doing things that don't bring in the money or don't bring in the clients, and then they don't grow. And that brings up a lot of frustration, or they give up, or they go back to their jobs. You know, they're really struggling. And as women, it's like, no, we can be productive because we are multitaskers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if we put our mind to it, like you're a mom. So if you're a mom, you know, if something goes on with your child and you become mama bear, you're going to be productive because you're going to save your child.
Right.
And you got to bring that into your business, creating that productivity to exactly know which step to take with that outcome. And we are really experts in that, because I'm German and she's like the productivity queen.
I like results, and I like leverage. I like measuring it, and I like conserving energy, and I like planning in action. So I've learned to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now, what about procrastination? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so procrastination, I got to learn the word. So procrastination, so that means you're not doing something that you should do, right? We all have been there. We're all guilty. So first thing, you are not alone.
Right.
You join the club. Procrastination is something that all humans do. The most important thing is to find a way that gets you moving. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. What gets you moving? So there are lots of ways how to get you moving. In the sense, maybe you're not too passionate about whatever you're doing, mm-hmm. and then people start procrastinating. Meaning, especially as women, we have this thing that we've fulfilled a lot of other people's wishes all our lives. So sometimes we don't ask ourselves, what do I really want? And sometimes women go into careers or do things that they don't really want to do. And so it's really important to ask yourself, are you doing the right thing that you want to do, that you are passionate about? Because otherwise I see a lot of procrastination if there's no passion around it.
Yes, and it can be very customized. This is something we teach in more detail when we work with our clients, because if you're looking for one format that fits everyone, we're all different. We all have different buttons, different personality style, different ways that we operate, different backgrounds. So even how we approach procrastination and how we handle it is going to be different. So should I recap?
Yes.
Let me recap. So client attraction MBA secret number 2 is plan in action. I love that phrase. You can create and market simultaneously. And this is a skill and an art that can be taught. You don't want to be just going out haphazardly, and you also don't want to get stuck where you never go out because of perfectionism. That's a whole nother topic. I shared the house analogy, so consider that. Sometimes good enough and getting things out there before it's completely done, but ready and striving for excellence, not perfection, is key. Getting comfortable with uncomfortable, we shared that. Any highly successful entrepreneur has mastered that skill, how to get comfortable with uncomfortable. And as we shared, it's completely dialed into who you are. So as the creator of the character code system, I teach that, and we use the character codes. And then productivity. Busy people aren't necessarily successful. They may just be on that hamster wheel running. And also, it's client attraction and busy people, those two don't go together. And then lastly, procrastination. That could be death to any entrepreneur, and it's a skill you want to learn.
Coming up to the next video number 3.
See you then.